Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force, and in today's video, we're here to talk about Vigilantes, a little bit. Vigilante? I don't know, is it singular, plural? Anyways, there was an interesting data mine that popped up, which was, yesterday, in yesterday's video, we talked about, characters for the upcoming Xavier saga and things like that. Well, in the data mine, there actually is this Scopely recommendation in terms of what characters that they believe are going to be the best for this. And I want to talk about this, but what's really funny is that the Vigilantes team is mentioned in there, even though the team, I guess, has been technically mentioned, right? When we did the Hit Monkey vote, but there hasn't been anything else related to that. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the data mines. But before we get to that, I do want to share something with you. Hey everybody, now some of you may or may not know that I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends for almost the last 2 months now, and I know what you're thinking, but I have 2 words for you: big bosses. But believe me, I'm having an absolute blast, and I just want to share this with you all. Now, Raid is also celebrating their 6th anniversary right now, so there are a ton of events and freebies going on, making this the best time to get started if you've never checked the game out, or even if you have and you want to return for another go. And right now, through the month of March, Raid is giving away a huge freebie in the form of Supreme Gallic, a legendary Void champion who you can get by downloading using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the link in the description down below, and using the promo code Supreme6, which I'll have on the screen here for you. On top of this, you're also going to get 2 free epic champions, including Zargala of the Orc faction and also epic Ugo at account level 15. And that's not all. But for a limited time, you can also still get the free legendary Alice the Wanderer through a 7-day login calendar. So that's 2 free legendaries and 2 epics, making this the best time to start playing. Also, now would be a great time to let you guys know about the Boilon Raid Shadow Legends YouTube channel, which I started about just over a month ago. There's a lot of great new player guides in here. You'd also be helping to support the channel if you click that subscribe button. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below, because if you decide to start playing Raid, then I do recommend you checking out some of my videos. I'm sure there's something for everyone here. So what are you guys waiting for? I think that you guys should give Raid Shadow Legends a shot. Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the description down below. I also want to let people know that I do have Raid Shadow Legends Discord channels that we can connect. There's a lot of chatter going on right now, and I'm having an absolute blast. So I hope that some of you guys will join me in this journey, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, and now we're back, and I want to start here in the data mine section here, which is just a little bit. There's not a whole lot of new stuff, but there is this. So Professor Xavier is coming soon. Upgrade your squads to gear tier 20 to prepare. Like, we already know this, right? We've seen the chart. I'm not going to bring up the chart again, right? Hopefully you watched my video from yesterday. Commander, Professor Xavier is coming soon. Build squads of 5 using the following traits of gear tier 20 to prepare for the Xavier saga and unlock Professor Xavier. Any city. Now, there is like multiple sections, right, with multiple difficulties, but I guess they're just kind of telling you, what you should use for all 3 difficulties. Any city recommended: Vigilante, singular, I guess, Blade, and Oath. So what they're saying here, I think what they're saying is, based on what I see on the other ones, that they're recommending 3 out of 5 Vigilante. And I'm going to say Vigilante. I can't say this without saying it plural. But anyways, probably the new characters, right? Let's be honest. That's probably what they're going at. Because if you look at some of the other ones, Orcus, Apocalypse, Ares, I mean, it could be more than 5 characters that they're recommending, I suppose. Hero Global, Liberty, Old Man Logan, Jean Grey. This is kind of interesting because we did talk about these in yesterday's video. I was talking about more of an X-Men build, but apparently Scopely is recommending Liberty. We'll talk about that a little bit. Villain Cosmic, Annihilators, Mephisto, and Null. We did talk about Null because he should be unlocking pretty soon, actually. Maybe in a couple of weeks, like when Battleworld's supposed to come back for another time. And then, I'm not going to say most of us, but a lot of us will be unlocking Null, who was kind of at D4, D5, that kind of level. Mephisto, and Annihilators. Now, I don't know if this means probably the 3 Annihilators, right? I wonder if this has to do with Gladiator requiring 2 others to cancel out the vulnerabilities and expose mechanic. But I'm always hesitant when it comes to using tanks, especially spawn tanks, because they might get their ass beat like as soon as they're in there. There was also no mention of Shadow King anywhere in here, so that's something that, because Shadow King is a pretty good character. and I would probably use them over like Gore because they don't have their arena buffs. I'm presuming they're not going to have their arena buffs, so that would make Shadow King better, I would think. And then finally, it's Lilandra and any hero cosmic recommended Starjammers, Odin, and Kahori, which was basically what I said, right? I said a lot of this in my video. There's also going to be an X coin orb. I don't know which event this is tied to. Contains X coins, which is for this is quite far down the line, right? Because I don't know when that G20 store actually is meant to come out, but maybe it's sooner rather than later then. But anyways, this orb for some event is going to contain X coins, and then there's something called the Legend Orb, which contains Crimson Gear and Teal Gear, blah 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 blah. Anyways, this is probably like an event orb for maybe like the 3rd or 4th week of March, something like that. We still have this, which we haven't heard of, but maybe we're going to hear the Freedom Spire, the tower stuff. Maybe that's going to come out in this week's blog as well, because they haven't officially talked about this, and this is something that I would expect at the latest on Friday's blog. So let's go back to the game, right? Let's jump back here. Let's talk about Vigilante. Let's start there, right? So, by the by, that's not the word. Is that the phrase? I'm terrible with. I don't even know why I did that. Word on the street, the Vigilante Street, is that there is going to be reworks to Electra. Oh, I thought I had that costume. I was just about to equip it. I don't even have any costume credits to buy it. I swear I had that costume. So the rumor is that there's going to be a rework to Electra and a rework to Punisher. Right? I spoke about this like 2 months ago, I'm pretty sure, or whenever it was. Like, I want to say it was pre-Christmas, but maybe I did it in January. I can't remember when I did that video. I'd have to go back onto my Discord to check, right? Where I spoke about Electra and Punisher, and then Daredevil most likely being a new character. And so I kind of want to start there, and we have Hitmonkey, right, of course. And so I want to start there. And I do have not that Reddit post. That I might talk about that in a little bit. But I found this. I was doing a little bit of online digging, right? And I thought this was pretty interesting because of the TV show that's ongoing right now, the evolution of Daredevil, and it kind of goes through actually the dates. There's like the year dates of like his different costumes and things like that, and even the TV and movie stuff, right? Now, I'm not a huge I don't know I don't know that much about Daredevil in terms of like the comic lore and stuff like that. But I was kind of curious as to, what we might see as a new character for Daredevil, right? Because we already have the Shadowland costume in game for him. So, they're probably not going to make it with this costume in mind, right? I don't think we have another one. No, it's just literally that. I thought I must have been dreaming something. I thought there was this yellow costume somewhere. I thought they did this at one point, but I must have been nuts. But so one thing you might have seen on my thumbnail, anyways, is one thing that I do think that might be the case is this one, which is the what's it called? Fear no man without fear, like this thing. I think that, and this was Marvel's Avengers Alliance. Now I played this a little bit, but there's probably going to be people here in the comments who probably played this a lot more than I did. I think it was the Facebook game, right? Played this a little bit, but not in any like great detail or anything like that. This game is allegedly the spiritual successor in mobile format of Avengers Alliance. So that's probably a good chance. There's a few others that I saw that popped out. This one, which I heard was called Daredevil's Purified. Daredevil Purified. I believe it was like a white costume. But I just, when it comes to thinking about whether it's the Netflix show or the show now, like I think this kind of makes a little bit more sense, right? I think that's where we could. And I saw this really cool costume. I highly doubt this is gonna happen, but this would be a great costume, by the way. Venomized Daredevil. There's a lot of great Venomized costumes, but I think the idea behind the new Daredevil, right, is that it's going to be a skill character. I mean, they could have just reworked this character and slapped a skill tag on them, but I mean, I guess they didn't want to do that with too many characters, right? Spider Society was pretty niche in that regard. And they would have to do that though with Elektra. So it makes me wonder why they just wouldn't have done that with Daredevil. Punisher's already a skill character, so that's fine. And Hitmonkey is, who knows, maybe he'll end up being a bio skill character, because you might argue that again, that I mean, I don't know the history of Hitmonkey, but bio, right? He's a monkey. Skill, because he like has a gun and a sword, a katana, I'm pretty sure. And there you go. right? There is some speculation over the final character, but I am not 100% convinced on things that I've heard, but we'll wait until it's more official. So that is the team that they're recommending for the city section of Xavier. And why is that important? Because traditionally the reworks have not been very good. There's been few exceptions, but that's when they were already pretty good, right? I'm trying to think of like since the Annihilators, most of the reworks, maybe like one or two have been like above and beyond. Like Scientist Supreme was like a brand new rework, which I think needed to happen because she was that trash. So Punisher is super old. So there's a possibility that Punisher gets some sort of weird blown out rework. But aside from that, a lot of them are pretty lackluster. I'm thinking Silver Surfer. Now, Lady Deathstrike was okay. She just got a huge stat bump, and that was like apparently good enough. But nothing really changed in her kit there. So she was okay though. Silver Surfer, Scientist Supreme got a huge rework. Agatha pretty much stayed the same. Moon Knight pretty much stayed the same as well. So a lot of these other characters that have been reworked more recently, Cap Sam is another good plug and play option, right? We're going to talk about him in the Liberties, but again, you know, Cap Sam was an amazing character when he was out back then. So I guess my point is that I don't expect Elektra to get some wild rework that suddenly makes her viable in the Xavier saga, because when they're talking about using Blade, Oath, and the Vigilantes team, it makes me think of like the three new characters, right? That's going to be what they're pushing. And actually, if you really think about it, a lot of the characters that are recommended are a lot of the newest characters, and therefore I don't know if this is some Scopely ploy to try and get you to spend on these characters or what. I may, just for shits and giggles, I might just go with the Scopely recommendation, and if it doesn't work, just say, "Hey, I just did what you guys told me to do, and it didn't work," right? But I do recommend for everyone else just to probably wait until someone else goes in still. But I do think it's funny what they're recommending. So therefore, I wanted to go into my roster and save these squads just to show you guys, right? So City, there's some fill-ins, right? Blade, Oath, Elektra, or new character, Vigilante. Sorry, I should say Vigilante new characters because it's probably not going to be Elektra. Like you're not going to probably want to build her for that because most of the reworks are trash. Anyways, who knows? You know, maybe Punisher will get a good one. That would be really nice. So that's what they're recommending for City, right? Like would be like Hitmonkey, new character, and then the new Vigilantes, right? That's what they're kind of expecting there with Blade and Oath. Hopefully one of them's a support character, because if you heard what I said yesterday, you know, if you're not able to do it without dying, then you're not going to get the 3-star on the mission, so that's pretty important. In terms of the global hero, they're recommending Liberty, Jean Grey, and Old Man Logan. Now, I did get a chance to go back over, because there were some comments that I was kind of throwing Jean Grey a little bit under the bus. Her kit's okay, right? But there's just a lot. It's fine. Like she can extend negative status effects, which actually would be really good with Old Man Logan, the trauma and things like that. But she's got a lot of like mechanics in her passive and elsewhere locked behind both Raid and Cosmic Crucible, and I don't like that. But we also don't know whether or not they're going to lift any of this stuff. I doubt it, because they've never done it in Dark Dimension or in the sagas, Apocalypse Saga. So I don't see that happening, but you never know, right? Maybe that's why they're pushing Liberty, because they're gonna like lift. They're gonna throw war in there. I don't know. I'm not sure. But you do know that you're gonna need the support character, which is gonna be If you are using Liberty, then you're gonna definitely need Falcon, because he is the support character, which means that I'm gonna need to build him a little bit more apparently if I want to do the Scopely recommended build. But otherwise, if you are gonna go for that X-Men side of things, some people were talking about Beast. You know, having that little thing in his passive where even if other X-Men character or other uncanny X-Men characters die, you still get 3-star. Now, I don't know if that's going to work in the in the Xavier saga, because it specifically calls out campaigns and challenges, which I don't think, because these sagas are under the Epic Mission banner, I'm not sure if that's programmed to count for that kind of thing. And I'm not about to go build up Wolverine or Cyclops to check it out, because you would need Beast and 3 uncanny X-Men, which would be Phoenix, Storm, right? Which way I said is really, really expensive to build, and Cyclops or Wolverine, one of those two. You would need that, and I'm not probably going to be doing that. So I might just go with the Scopely recommendation and see what happens, right? And then blame them if it goes to shit. And then we have Global Villain. They're saying both Ares and Apocalypse, but honestly, I would probably go with Apocalypse and 4 Orcus. I don't know if Ares has the same sort of passive, right, that Apocalypse does. So I don't know if this was like an either or kind of scenario. I think I would prefer 4 Orcus Apocalypse than throwing in Ares. That's just my personal opinion. And then include Nimrod, obviously. You could go with the double, the support if you need it. But I think Scientist Supreme probably is enough support to get you through these kinds of missions, unless it's super insane. But I just don't see if you would need that much healing that Omega Sentinel would be really that necessary. So that's villain global, and then we have Cosmic, Hero Cosmic with Lilandra, right? Or we have villain Cosmic down here, but we'll talk about that. So this is what I think that Kahori is really, really good standalone. So I'm thinking Kahori, Odin, Groot, Lilandra, and and Howard. And if I'm not mistaken, Lilandra can still get Groot to taunt. I know haven't actually used her on offense that much. I swear there was something in her kit that someone other than Rocket could trigger a taunt on him, and I'm pretty sure it's Lilandra, right? I should spend the time to look at the kit. It's just essays, and I kind of mind blanked recording this late at night. So if that's the case, that should be fine. Groot actually has really crazy support capability, and I do think that it would be really good, and you need the healer, right? Like he's pretty much healing for the team. You're going to need that. And then finally, we have Villain Cosmic. Now, I'm skeptical of, well, obviously with Null. I'm skeptical the most about probably Gore. But Gladiator, I mentioned what I don't like. I like Gladiator, but what I don't like is that, if things are really hard, if his spawn taunt like causes him to die for some reason, right? If he just takes too much damage and he dies and you screw over your 3-star, that's my only concern there. Null and Gore might have that synergy, right? Where you might just want to have Gore instead. Null and Gore, they'll have some synergy together, and that might be worthwhile. And so there you might replace Gladiator, use Gore, put Null in here, and then that's your team there. Shadow King is pretty good, so I can't imagine then him being left out. And as far as the other characters go, like Super Skrull and stuff like that, yeah, he's old era, right? Get him out of there. And so is Mephisto, I guess, but with the diamonds, he's still standing up. So I think that would be fine there. And I'm gonna go with the Scopely recommendation. Why? Because I'm crazy and I need something to do and I need a goal and I shouldn't be trusting Scopely, but that's what they're saying that you should do. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm gonna do it because if it ends up being bad, then I can say, hey, Scopely made me do it, right? And that's what we've come to talk about here today. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. I am having an absolute blast, by the way. If you want a game that has real anniversary events, it's going to be Raid Shadow Legends. So do check it out. There's going to be some links in the comments down below. And that's it for me. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.